Hey everybody, I'm Logan Alec. I'm a CPA. I own Choice Tax Relief. We help people who owe significant back tax debt to the IRS or their state, as well as folks who have multiple years of unfiled tax returns that they need to file and get in compliance for. And today I'm walking you through the TurboTax tax software for tax year 2023 returns that are filed in calendar year 2024. So these are the tax returns that most folks are filing right now in February, March, April-ish 2024, or if you got an extension, you have up until October 2024 to file your taxes. And how I'm going to approach this is I'm going to basically walk through a dummy tax return using kind of fictitious tax documents that I've created. I created I pulled one of my employees' W-2s here. Let me pull it up for you on screen. Here we go. And I kind of redacted just a bunch of the information on here, like the name, social and stuff like that, but I kept the numbers the same. I also pulled some of my own stock 1099s that I got from stockbrokers that I use. I forget which one I'm going to use, but I'm going to use one of these. So, if you're kind of a financial voyeur, so to speak, you'll be able to kind of see some of my own, tax docs and things like that, which I know some of you might be interested in. All right, so let's go back to the TurboTax screen here. By the way, if you are going to use TurboTax, well, first let me say this. How this video is going to work is I'm going to walk through the TurboTax, a dummy tax return in the TurboTax tax software from beginning to end, right? Basic inputs, all that, right? And as I walk through that tax return, I'm just going to share with you my off-the-cuff thoughts about the good and the bad of TurboTax, the pros and the cons, right? What I like, what I don't like so much. So essentially, this video is going to not only be a walkthrough, but also a review by an expert. I'd consider myself an expert as a CPA of the TurboTax tax software for your at-home use. And let me say this, kind of a little pitch here. But if you do end up using TurboTax, I'd love it if you use my affiliate link, moneydoneright.com/TurboTax. You can see it in the URL up there. No additional cost to you, but I will get a small commission if you use that link and you pay for one of TurboTax's paid products. You might think that makes me biased here. It doesn't. I'm just going to share you, what I actually think about TurboTax. And if you've seen my previous TurboTax reviews, you know that's the case. Right off the bat, I'm seeing something I don't actually like very much. And that is when you kind of go to this main screen here, TurboTax isn't breaking down for you all the different paid options, right? Because there's 4 different versions of TurboTax, right? There's like the free one, which is basically we just have like a W-2 in a basic tax situation. There's the next one. Let me actually pull up my review from last year to show you what I mean. Right, so this is a screenshot, kind of a pause from my TurboTax review from last year. And you can see here that on this main screen, it would actually kind of break down all of the different paid options, all the way from free edition, which is basically simple tax returns, deluxe, I think you get itemized deductions in that one, premier, that gets you if you have like stocks on Schedule D or rental property on Schedule E, and you can't see it because my little inlay is covering it, but self-employed, which is if you have like Schedule C. It doesn't look like they are doing that now, unfortunately. It looks like what instead they're doing is, they're showing you the TurboTax DIY products from $0 to $89 without breaking down who's paying $0 and who's paying $89. But then over here, they're showing you these assisted services, right? Where experts help you as you do your taxes, or the full service where they do your taxes for you. It looks like they're pushing that maybe a lot more than this, the DIY product. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me how they're doing that. So they're not really, giving you a choice of which one to choose. I guess what they want you to do is just click, start for free. And then you got to create an Intuit account if you don't have one before. So I'm going to kind of just create one here, and I'm going to have a password here. And do I need to put the phone number? Let's see here. I do. Okay. I'm going to pause it while I put my phone number in because I don't want you guys all blowing up my phone. All right. So I basically filled out my phone number. They sent me a code. I hit confirm. I got the code on my phone, and then I hit confirm. You know how that works. So I'm in TurboTax now. First thing I see is this pop-up. Before continuing your tax experience, to provide you with a better online experience, TurboTax uses third-party tracking technologies which share limited, non-tax information with advertising partners. By clicking yes, you agree to the use of these advertising trackers. I'm going to hit no thanks, as a matter of fact. I don't want, that kind of tracking. All right, we're glad you're here. Here's what to expect. Answer simple questions about your year. Get quick, personalized answers when you need them. Never feel alone with access to real experts. Guys, so this whole screen is new. And then they ask you, how'd you do your taxes last year? I'm just going to say someone filed for me, so we can just kind of start from scratch. Do any of these apply? This helps us customize your experience. And by the way, why don't I move my little face here? Let's see. Why don't I move my face up there? I think that might be better. Well, yeah, I want to maximize deductions and credits. Yeah, I donated to charity. Okay, so this sample taxpayer, I'm calling him Vito Corleone. I'm going to say he has a job. None of this other stuff. I'm going to say he has a dependent. I'm going to say he pays rent and he sold stock. How comfortable do you feel doing your own taxes? We'll show our expert help options and make a recommendation. Again, this is kind of new. It looks like they're really pushing this expert help thing, the assist and the done for you kind of stuff. I'm going to choose this middle ground here. Not saying you should. I just want to see what happens if we do that. Okay, and actually I'm going to move myself back down so you can. Here we go. Okay. Based on your answers, this is the right option for you. File your taxes confidently with expert assistance. Get unlimited help and a file review from tax experts, ensuring 100% accurate filing and maximize your refund guaranteed. Wow. $169. State additional $49. So what are we looking at? Are we looking at $218? Is that what we're looking at? Wow. That's, I'll tell you what, that's a lot more than the, because this situation isn't the self-employed situation. It's like the next lowest tier. And remember, they weren't showing you the prices on that first page. It just said 0 to 89, right, for DIY. I mean, this kind of situation here, someone who's not self-employed, doesn't have a rental property, I don't really see why you would need to pay a tax professional, much less a TurboTax tax professional, $169 plus $49 for your state, $218 total to do your tax return. This kind of tax return here, maximize deductions and credit, charity, W-2, job dependents, paid rent, sold stock. You can input all this stuff by yourself, just with the tax documents that your employer gave you, your W-2, the 1099 and gain loss information from your stockbroker, and how much you gave to charity. You'll probably get a letter, or you'll probably already have for 2023 from your church or other organizations that you give money to. This TurboTax. One of my complaints in previous years was the upsell. Right, they would upsell the audit protection, right, for $30. For the most basic return, you don't really need audit protection, bro. Like, I didn't really like that upsell. And now it looks like they're going for an even bigger upsell here with this, this whole expert assistance thing. And look how strong the language is. Based on your answers, this is the right option for you. Not we suggest. This is the right option for you. So I'm gonna say do it yourself. Really? It's gonna be 89? Huh? Why is it 89? This shouldn't be the highest version. The highest version should be if you got self-employment income. I didn't indicate I got self-employment income. I'm really confused about the pricing, and they didn't make it very transparent at all up front. This is very confusing indeed, because this at the first page it said $0 to $89. 89 should be the highest here, which is only if you have the Schedule C for self-employment income. Something strange here. I think maybe they're trying to put the highest DIY price here to make this look, oh, it's only $80 more, right? But then of course state's additional. Oh, TurboTax up to its games. But I'm not going to dwell on this. I would call this a con though. 2 cons already so far, right? It's, they didn't kind of show all the different types of TurboTaxes, all the different packages at the beginning, right, on the homepage, and then plus, what is this? Okay, but based on our estimate, and then plus it kind of really upsells that assisted thing, which someone with a tax return this simple, they probably don't need a tax professional. Based on our estimates, you can finish in 1 hour 42 minutes. Well, we're probably gonna, that's new too. We're probably gonna be faster than that. Okay, so this is Vito A. Corleone. And we're going to say, I don't know, I think he was born in, Godfather 2, I think he's 9 in like 1902 or something. So let's say 18. We can't do, no one's alive from the 1800s anymore. That's why they don't let you. Let's just say 1972 when Godfather 1 came out. Let's say he's the Godfather. All right. Continue. Okay. I'm obviously going to make up a social security number here. They could tell it's fake. Let's see if they take this. Great. I'm going to say, I know, it should be New York, but I'm going to do California for a couple of reasons. One, that's the most populous state. So for people watching this, chances are there's a better chance you live in California than any other state. And then I live in California as well. That is my home state, born and raised. Okay. All right, let me see if I can zoom this a little bit here. Okay, so let's check for some other situations. These are kind of rare situations. Obviously, if this applies to you, you would check it. Doesn't apply to old Vito here. About your household, I'm going to say that he's single, just to make things simple. I'm going to say, yeah. I'm going to say he has a dependent. I'm just going to say he has one. Just keep going. Dumb. Okay, all right, let's add the dependent now. Say it's a child. Continue. Connie. Corleone. Let's say she was born in 2010. U.S. citizen. It's my daughter. Are these my only options? So can I live with you for the whole year? Let's say yes. With all time in the U.S., let's say yes. Do you have written or verbal agreement with Connie's other parent? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that Connie spent the most nights with Vito. Who is planning to claim Connie? I am. Less common situations. I'm going to say no. All right, let's make up another social here. See if they take it. No, they don't. How about that? There we go. Great. Dependent. Whoop-de-doo. So I guess he's head of household then, right? If you got this dependent. Yes, I paid more than half the cost. There you go. Head of household. Got that right. All right. Let's move right along here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Yep. Nope. No money earned in another state. Obviously, if you have that, you would put something there. Wages and income. We just need you're okay on a couple of things. Let's use your tax info to improve your experience. What is this shenanigans? What is this? So what this is for, man, this is a lot sneakier than it was in the past. I thought it was sneaky in the past. It's even sneakier now. Right now, we can only use your tax info to help you prepare and file your return, but we can do a lot more. We're asking your permission to let us work smarter by showing you only offers that are relevant based on your tax situation. Basically, they want to use your info for advertising purposes. Okay, so I'm going to say, I'm not going to do that, and I don't want the data shared with Intuit. What is it? I'm just going to say no thanks. I'm going to say no thanks. All right, this is the upsell that I've seen historically, right? It's the this is like the audit protection here. Identity theft. What is it? It's 59. I think it was 30. It should be $30. As they don't add max. I mean, obviously, you read it if you want it, go for it. But I don't think you'd probably need it if you have a very simple return. Probably don't need to worry about getting audited at all. Okay, add my income. Yay. Did you withdraw money from your retirement plan? I'm going to say no. You get dividends. I'm going to say yes because I have the stock thing. From interest, I'm going to say no. Do you have more investment losses than gains? This is actually if you're having a capital loss carry forward, right? Make sure you don't miss that. A lot of you out there, you had some pretty crippling stock or crypto losses by getting a little too fancy. You made a lot of money in 2021 and they lost it in 2022. You want to make sure that if you do have capital loss carry forwards that you're getting them into TurboTax, and that's what this question's about here. Right? Because you'd put that in. You'd look at your last year's return for that. Did you own or control a foreign bank account? No. It's FBAR, FinCEN stuff. All right, your income and expenses. Wait, I thought I said I didn't have self-employment. I thought I said I didn't select I had rental properties. What is this? All right, let's input the W-2. Let's see, continue. All right, so let's pull up that phony W-2. Come on. Open up. Why don't you? Here it is. Okay. What can I do? Let's see. All right, so now I'm doing a little screen share here. Okay, enter your employer ID from your W-2. I obviously made this one up, this 888 thing. Let's see if it takes it. Right. Okay, continue. Let's try the upload. Can I drag and drop? See here. Let's see if it takes it. Then you don't have to type it in. All right, okay. All right, so let's check that the info's right. Okay, big company. Yeah, that's the company I made up. All right, 101 Main Street, Los Angeles. Yep, so this info here for the employer matches this info up here. Show employee info. Right? Vito, I didn't get that right. Okay. It should say first name, Vito, middle initial A, and last name, Corleone. Right? Vito A. Corleone. I got the address right, 505 2nd Street, right? That's all this stuff here. For the taxpayer, I'm going to say make changes because I got to make a change to this. Right, okay. It imports the amount from the boxes. Box 1, 8308.08, that's right. Federal income taxes withheld, 58, yep, that's right. Box 3, yep. Box 4, yep. Box 5 matches. And box 6, Medicare taxes, yep, that matches. Okay, we don't have anything in box 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11. Let's go to 12. I'm going to fill it out. Cost of employer-sponsored health coverage. Okay, box 13, nothing checked there. Box 14, CASDI 0.77, automatically recognize that was a California SDI tax. Right, state, California state employee, 4, 5, 6, 7, yep, got that, 7, 8, yep, got that right. Box 16, state wages, yep, got it right. State income tax, yep, got it right. Of course, you could manually just input these amounts as well, but I want to test the upload thing. Worked pretty well, other than kind of the name it didn't quite get right. Uncommon situations, I'm going to say none of these apply. All right, so that's how you do the W-2. If you have another W-2, you hit add another one, but I'm just going to assume this person only has one. Done for now. Okay. I'm going to assume no self-employed income and expenses, but we are going to give them some stocks here. Do you have investment income? I'm going to say yes. Do you have crypto? I'm going to say no. Okay, so I guess you could kind of connect your financial accounts. Right, obviously, I'm not going to do that because this is a fake tax return. Okay, looks like all these you can try to like import from them. Okay, so if you had like a Robinhood account, you hit Robinhood, and I guess it would take you probably to maybe a Plaid connection or something, or you're going to enter your account number and the digit document ID, which is pretty cool. Again, I'm not going to link my accounts to into TurboTax in that way because this is the fake tax return I'm doing. But let's see what. Now let's input the stocks. Which one did I want to do? Was it? There was one of these that was more interesting than the other. By the way, this is a UPS store address, so don't. If you're looking for me here, you'll be sorely disappointed. Was it this one? No, I think it was the other one. The other one had more stuff. Okay, so we're gonna work off of this. Okay, let's start with one investment type. All right, so what's the first tax stock here? It's the dividend one, right? 1099 div, showing the dividends that I got in this M1 Finance account here. Okay, payments to shareholder. Just let me talk about dividends for a second, folks. Let me get it on the soapbox here. I don't personally love dividends at this stage of my life because I have to pay taxes on them, and I don't need the cash flow. I just reinvest the dividends, right? So I'm kind of paying tax on something that I don't really want, right? I'd rather the company just keep the money, reinvest in growth, right? I don't want to pay tax on the dividends, right? As opposed to if I was a little bit older and I needed the cash flow, sure, I'd like the dividends and sure, give them to me. But right now, I reinvest the dividends anyway, and it just receiving the dividends kind of creates some unnecessary tax drag on my portfolio, in my humble opinion. Okay, but let's input the dividends here. Okay. Did I select them all? It says let's start with 1. Okay. I'm just gonna type it in myself. All right, payers information. You could put like Apex. I would put, in my case, Apex Clearing, because that's the name on the top here. Dividends, and then here, box 1A, 2,465.04. Qualified dividends, 2334.05. Section 199A dividends, line 5. Why is it doing this? Can I say continue? Not apply. Huh? What about the other boxes? Oh, my form is info and other boxes. There we go. Okay. Line 5, section 198 dividends. All right, see that? 130.99. There we go. You could just put 131. All right, that's it for the dividend. What else is on this form? Let's see here. How can I scroll? Why can I scroll to the right, please? No? Okay. Okay, so there's nothing on the interest side here. Nothing there. It's all 0. Oh, wait. We're not done with the dividends. So these uncommon situations apply. I'm going to say none of these apply. Just to make things nice and simple, let's finish pulling your investment income. Okay. Let's add investments. No. I just want to type it in the old-fashioned way. Okay. I also got, let's see, over here in this box. Okay, this is going to, oh, it's not in here. It's in the other one? It's in the other one. Okay. Anyway, so I guess this one doesn't have it. All right, so forget that. Okay, now here's where you're going to input. Now these are like the gains and losses in the account, right? And I don't even remember selling these. Gosh, I usually wouldn't want to sell them. I don't want to create more taxes. I don't know why I did this, but I did. So I'm going to input it. Stocks, bonds, and mutual funds here. Gonna hit continue. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna type it in. All right. So again, I'm just gonna put Apex Clearing here. Right. The payer's EIN is gonna be up here. 132967453. Okay. Tell us about the sales for Apex Clearing 1099B. Do sales include employee stock? I'm going to say no. Do you have more than 3 sales on your 1099B? Let's look. 1, 2. Yeah, I'm just gonna say yes. Say no. All right. So here's what you can do. You don't have to input every transaction one by one. You can just group them by the totals, and that's what TurboTax is telling you to do. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. Enter one sale total. Okay, so this is short-term transactions for covered tax lots. That means the basis is reported to the IRS, right? So I'm gonna write covered. Total proceeds 3211.05. Total cost basis 3377.76. Boom. Done. Negative 166.71. That matches that. Okay, now let's do the long terms. Long-term transactions for covered tax lots. All right, so we do long-term covered. Total proceeds 4906.71. Total basis 39491.83. Boom, 1414.88. That matches there. Add another sales total. Now we're going to do long-term non-covered tax lots. So we do long-term basis not reported to IRS. Total proceeds 105,714.47. Total cost or other basis. That's this. And then the total gain or loss. Hit continue. It should match that. 23,833.90. It does. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, that will help you upload your 1099B since IRS requires a copy. This isn't actually true. You don't have to upload a copy of it. We don't. For our clients, we don't want to give the IRS any more information than they need. That is a lesson to be learned to anyone dealing with the IRS. Looks like TurboTax might actually require it to e-file. So I guess I'll do it. I'm obviously not filing this return. I don't want them to have my. You know what? Because I'm a man of the people. I'm gonna do it. Okay. So what I did was I drag and dropped my 1099B here. I'm obviously not gonna, so I'll show you again. Right, I drag and drop my 1099B right there, and I'm not gonna obviously submit this dummy return to the IRS. So hopefully this doesn't go anywhere. Okay, I think that's it. What else we got here? Did I have margin interest here? All right, margin interest. So this would be considered investment interest expense. But this Vito Corleone here, he's not itemizing his deductions. So this goes nowhere. If you were itemizing your deductions, this would be an itemized deduction. You can take your investment interest expense. There's a limitation on it though, based on how much investment income you have. So, be aware of that. Any investment interest expense you can't deduct this year will be carried forward to future years. And that you track that on, I think it's form 4952. Let me just double check that. Right. So you'd have to fill this out. But again, for purposes of this video, I'm just intending to do a very simple tax return. And I'm going to assume that that's it for this individual's taxes. Okay. All right. What's next? Right. We got the job. We got the investment, the capital gains. All right. Here we go. Another upsell for tax experts. Taxes are easier with experts by your side. Next up, our tax experts can help you file with full confidence. Okay, continue. Here we go again. Here's the upsell to the live, the assisted. File confidently with experts by your side. Our experts answer your questions along the way and review your return before you file so you get every dollar you deserve. Okay, so this, here's the 169, right? Okay, this is if you want max too, with a lot of protection, all that, 228. Vito doesn't need it. He doesn't need it, man. I don't know why they're upselling. Well, they're upselling this because they want to make money. But, dude, the only thing on this tax return that has to be input, right? What is it? It's his personal information, his daughter's personal information. The W-2, right, which you just uploaded. The stock information, which is just data entry into the tax software. What do you need a professional for? Why do you need to pay $169? Why do you have to pay $228? Doesn't make sense. TurboTax is a business, so they got to make a buck. I get it. Okay, but it's just a little annoying as a tax professional to kind of see this. What are we gonna do? We're just gonna continue without additional benefits. Oh, just wait. Jennifer's here for you. Tax experts are here if you change your mind, right? No. Don't need you, Jen. Form bank account? Nope. I'm going to say none of that. Disaster distribution? I'm going to say nope. Digital asset? It's like crypto. I'm going to say nope. You guys are doing all right. Okay. Time to find all those tax breaks. All the deductions will help you get your best outcome. Okay, find tax breaks. Estimated tax payments, I'm just going to say no. Foreign taxes, no. No state income, no school expenses as a teacher. No payments as a home loan. I'm going to say no child or dependent care. I'm going to say no HSA. No student loan payments. I'm going to say no IRA contributions. I'm going to say no car registration fees. I'm going to say no. I'm just going to make this as simple as possible, folks. Obviously, if you have those situations, you would fill in those places. All right, so let's see. The review to take the $500 credit for, actually, the daughter is a qualifying child, so he should be getting the child tax credit for her. I'm going to say none of these apply to me. Yay, $2,000 credit. Okay, what are you working on? All right, donations to charity. I'm going to say it's not going to matter because it doesn't itemize deductions, but I'm going to say he gave $2,000 to charity. I'm going to say money. Okay. Say done. Done. All right, no tax breaks. No home buyer credit issue. No, let's say no paying for child or dependent care. All right, standard deduction. Woohoo, that's what we do. Okay. QBI. Okay, this is just a deduction you get because some of the dividends were $199. You don't have to worry about it. Just make sure you do your inputs right, and it'll calculate it correctly. Uncommon situations. No. Live-in nanny. No. No president. No IP pen. If you did get an IP pen, that's very important. You won't be able to e-file without it. Underpayment penalties. Balance doing returns in the case of this penalty. Blah, blah, blah. All right, possible penalty exception. I'm going to say no. Did I just fall asleep? I think I did. Taxes are boring, folks. What can I say? I'm going to say I was head of household last year, too. You know, this is if you want it to calculate, maybe get a better underpayment penalty calculation for estimated taxes. I'm just going to say no. I would actually recommend doing this if you have a significant underpayment of estimated tax penalty. Extra tax withheld is paid. I mean, again, these are things I would recommend if you were underpaid during the year, but this person wasn't really underpaid. Okay, so I don't know. Let's just say 4/15/2024 is the day of the payment. This is all new. I don't remember this from previous years in TurboTax. So let him bill me. Okay. I'm going to say none of these apply. All right, detailed review, personal info. I don't want to show my phone number. So, all right, all I did was input my phone number and hit continue. All right. Okay. I'm going to say no to all this. All right. Why do I owe $3,060? Right, it's because of the capital gain thing, really. Okay. Right, you can review all that. I'm not going to look through all of it. Okay. State, I'm just going to zip right through it because, I know not everybody lives in California. I'm not going to spend time on California details and intricacies. But basically, state returns are mostly based on federal return. So there shouldn't be very many state-specific questions here. Sometimes there's adjustments. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say no. Not a different last name. Yep, same. It's funny. It can't just detect the county based on the zip code. I'll say no. you have health insurance coverage? Yes. If you don't, California will still charge you a penalty. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say none of this. I'm going to say none of this. All right, so if the California taxes differently, I'm just going to assume there's no... Okay, so this is stuff that if it applies to you, hit start. I'm going to assume none of this applies. Okay, for this dummy tax return. Done with adjustments. I'm going to say no on tax out-of-state purposes. That would trigger use tax. Let's check for ways to save you money. Wow, there's so many more questions about the states. I'm going to say none of these apply. No special fund. Oh my gosh. Yes, not legally married. Didn't I already tell it that? Okay, yeah, you got all that. Yeah. Completed household review. Great. All right. Now let's assume he's already registered to vote. Oh my gosh. No, none of this applies. All right. Do it. Ugh. What a task. Okay. All right. Now here's the part where I don't think I'm going to continue because it's going to ask for the money at this point. Okay. Let's see what it does here. Let me see what the final price is. Okay, I thought we already reviewed. No tax expert. Oh, man. 34 minutes. Yay. Again, no. All right. Just 3 more steps will fire returns. Okay. So let's see what the final cost is at TurboTax. $128. File a return. It's crazy. You got to do it yourself. It's crazy. All right. Okay. So that was my walkthrough. I kind of shared some thoughts in the course of it, but let's just kind of go over pros and cons. TurboTax pros and cons. Pro number 1 is, the user experience is pretty nice. It's pretty seamless. It asks you the questions that cover most tax situations. Has you kind of indicate, gives you a list of things of kind of rare tax situations and asks you to, affirm that none of them apply to you. User experience is great. It's always been a strong suit of TurboTax is the user experience, right? Number 2, going through this, I saw the questions it was kind of asking. I think if you fill out the information that it's asking, you'll end up with an accurate return. Okay. So yeah, that's where TurboTax shines, right? Really the user interface, right? And accuracy. Where TurboTax, the big con would be, at least in my opinion, the constant upselling, right? A tax return like this does not need a tax expert to help them with it, right? They're just literally inputting data from tax documents into the software. You don't need to pay, tax professional to do that, or pay for their help to do that. You could pay them to do it, so it's their time being spent, not yours. I get that analysis there, but if you're going to be inputting all this stuff anyway, spending your time, no need to pay additional money for a tax expert to review it, at least not for a return as simple as this, right? In my opinion. And then the upsell for the max protection and the audit protection. It's I don't like how they're just showing that to everybody. I mean, I get the business purpose of it, but it's just a return like this doesn't really need audit protection, and it's a very basic return, very low audit risk. If it did get audited, it could probably send them docs to get the agent off your back. Okay, look at this, another upsell. Let me go back. Another upsell for Max, and then the Will Builder. More upsells. Wow. All right, folks. That was my TurboTax shtick this year. I don't know why I'm so tired, man. I'm sorry, but I'm tired. But you know what? I got through it because I'm a man of the people. Maybe my grandkids will see this one day and think, wow, look at Grandpa Logan, man. He was really consistent with those TurboTax YouTube videos. Wow. I don't know what I'm saying. I do it for posterity. I do it for the culture. If you'd like to see other tax videos, you can see some here on the left-hand side of your screen. If you have a tax problem on filed tax returns, you owe the IRS or your state more than $10,000, visit us as Choice Tax Relief. There should be a little button popping up right here. You can visit our website, fill out the form, or give us a call, 866-8000-TAX. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.